President Biden set to take executive action to crack down on illegal immigration. Marks a striking shift in the administration's policy toward tougher measures at the border. NTD's Iris Tao has more from the White House.
And President Biden is expected to sign an executive order as early as Tuesday that will allow immigration officials to quickly deport illegal immigrants, restricting their ability to claim asylum here. The White House, while not yet confirming the move on Monday, said the administration was exploring a series of policy options to, quote, address our broken immigration system. The move comes as polling continues to show a majority of voters put border as one of their top concerns and remain dissatisfied with Biden's handling of it. Former President Trump's campaign responded on Monday by posting this interview clip from this weekend.
And Biden, by the way, he doesn't need any legislation. He could say the word, close the border. That's what I did. I said, close the border. And it was so bad that it took a little while. I fixed the border originally.
All this is as President Biden, who went on a bike ride with Hunter Biden on Sunday, is showing support for his son as jury selection began on Monday for Hunter's federal trial on gun charges. In a Monday statement, Biden said, "I'm the president, but I'm also a dad. A lot of families have loved ones who have overcome addiction and know what we mean." While adding he's proud of his son, Biden said he wouldn't comment on pending federal cases. Meanwhile, tonight, Biden is fundraising in Connecticut. And that's as Trump, now finally out of court, is also scheduling several fundraisers this week and a rally this Sunday in Las Vegas. And Trump's campaign announced on Monday that it raised over $140 million in May amid the New York trial. And Trump's campaign says 25% of May's donors were brand new, making this month the best month so far this year. Reporting from the White House, Iris Tao, NTD News.
President Biden's son Hunter is the first child of a sitting U.S. president to face federal criminal charges. They're related to Hunter Biden allegedly possessing a gun while addicted to crack cocaine. NTD's Jack Bradley joins us from the federal courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware.
The president's son is facing 3 charges for allegedly lying on a federal form to purchase a revolver and ammunition, possessing the gun, all while addicted to crack cocaine back in 2018. Prosecutors will use excerpts from his memoir and text messages around the time of the gun purchase, which suggests he was using crack cocaine. The defense will try to say that he was not addicted to drugs in that moment, as he had just prior completed a rehabilitation program. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special prosecutor to the case, so the federal government appears more removed and there's no appearance of bias. If convicted on all charges, he faces a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison and $750,000 in fines. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges. This comes about a year after his plea deal on the case fell through. In the courtroom, he was supported by his stepmom, First Lady Jill Biden, and his stepsister, Ashley Biden, and his wife. In a separate trial in Los Angeles, Hunter Biden also faces felony tax evasion charges, allegedly defrauding the government $1.4 million, and this case will be heard later this year. He has pled not guilty. Hunter Biden is the first child of a sitting president to face trial, and the publicity of this trial could have an impact on President Biden's re-election bid. Reporting from Wilmington, Delaware, Jack Bradley, NTD News.
And moments ago, a full jury has now been seated in Hunter Biden's federal gun trial. The panel includes 7 men, 5 women, along with 4 alternates. Now the court is adjourned for the day, and the judge says opening statements will begin tomorrow at around 9 a.m. And what kind of message does it send to the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury for the First Lady to be in court today for jury selection in Hunter Biden's trial? Joining me now to assess the public perception of the trial on the heels of former President Trump's trial and verdict is Trump's senior advisor, Kash Patel. Kash Patel, thank you so much for joining.
Hey, it's great to be back with you.
It's great to have you back, Kash. During jury selection beginning today in the Hunter Biden federal gun trial in Wilmington, Delaware, he's facing 3 felony charges, including 2 counts of making false statements and 1 count of unlawful gun possession while using illegal drugs. If convicted, he faces 10 years in prison. Kash, how do you think the American people are going to perceive the trials of Hunter Biden and former President Trump, especially given their potential sentencing just weeks apart? And how might these cases impact the upcoming election?
You know, I think this trial is going to get even more notice than it would have coming on the heels of the Trump conviction. And whatever your thoughts about the Trump trial are, one way or the other, it's going to cause more focus to see if there's a uniform application of justice or not. So when you compare these two, I've come on your show before and repeatedly said that the Trump prosecutions were completely unconstitutional. From the onset of the Alvin Bragg DA election cycle to convict Donald Trump, to use a weaponized system of justice, to get in bed with a rigged judge, and then to basically deny Donald Trump a defense and force jury instructions that were completely unconstitutional. People were watching that intently because it was President Trump. And what I said on social media last week or the week before, I said, I wonder what those people are going to be saying once Hunter Biden's jury is sworn in. Are they going to be singing the same tune? So I think it's going to be interesting to see the comparisons made by those who were saying how righteous the Donald Trump conviction was. And they're probably going to come to Hunter's aid, and it should be a focal point for election cycle politics.
Cash, President Biden in Delaware over the weekend, not completely abnormal. He does have two houses there, spending time with his son Hunter. But more notably, the First Lady showing up to the courthouse with Hunter today. What message do you think this presence, if you will, sends to Special Counsel David Weiss, the prosecutor, the judge, and ultimately the jury?
Well, I think it's improper. I mean, first of all, it was improper for the President of the United States to throw a international gala at the White House, to host a state dinner for a foreign premier, and invite not only Merrick Garland, but Hunter Biden. And both of them showed up. The top cop in the United States of America, who is prosecuting his boss's son, gets invited to a black tie affair at the White House just last week, and who shows up? The guy he's prosecuting? How unfair is that? What kind of appearance does that set up for our system of justice? And no one's calling him out for that. I mean, could you imagine if during the Trump presidency that his attorney general decided to prosecute Don Jr. and they were all partying together at the White House the week before jury selection? And so I think this is an extension, a continuation to cause more to listen. I'm not the guy that's going to ever say family. It's not family first. It's always family first. And if they want to show support, but they are the first family, so they have to act like it at all times, not when it selectively applies to them. And so it's interesting that they're there. Also, I thought it extremely interesting that they chose to visit with one of the witnesses in the case right before the trial happened itself. So a lot of things that don't normally occur are occurring.
It's fascinating stuff, Cash. And I want to get your thoughts on former President Trump's trial in New York, which just wrapped up. You still have the sentencing coming down the pike here. I guess from your perspective as a former prosecutor, what type of precedent might this set and message does it send to other district attorneys throughout the country that may be politically active in what they could do with their power?
It's an extremely dangerous one. It's one that should never have been set. And that's the thing. Some of the pundits have been saying, what are Republican attorneys generals across the United States going to do? Are they going to start prosecuting political opponents? And are they going to create fictitious legal scenarios to do so? Are they going to bootleg the statute of limitations and deprive the defendant of a fair trial? We're not the ones that are constitutionally selective. We're the ones that say the Constitution should apply to all in the same exact way, including Donald Trump. But the New York State court system has deprived him of that with a huge assist from the judge who was presiding over the case. And, you know, if it had been the other way around, say a Republican AG in, the state of Texas, were prosecuting Biden or a member of his family, the mainstream media and the outcry from everyone else about how weaponized justice was being used to execute a political vendetta would be the premier story of the day. But because the target was Donald Trump in New York, the hypocrisy is coming out.
Kash Patel, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
With jury selection now kicking off in Hunter Biden's gun trial, how are the American people reacting to the ongoing indictments against our public officials and their families? NTD's Sam Wong was out in the National Mall to hear from voters.
I felt like he was guilty from day one.
You have the gun, you have the signed document. It shouldn't even go to trial.
One of the reasons why they're going after him like they are is because his father is the president. And I think that he should be given a chance like any normal, regular American.
If somebody is guilty of something, regardless of political party, there needs to be consequences to it.
If anyone else did that, they'd throw the book at him. They probably won't do anything to Hunter.
So how do you think his current litigations are compared to former President Trump's situation in New York?
Oh, well, we're Trump supporters, so I don't think Trump's were fair at all. But I still think that Hunter Biden is getting the shaft.
In the Trump case, they had to lift statute of limitations to try him. They didn't announce the actual charge until the reading of to the jury.
Why don't they prosecute him to the fullest extent like they're supposedly prosecuting Trump?
I don't have a lot of respect for our judicial system right now because of the constant corruption.
So do you think this case is going to hurt President Biden in the election?
I hope it cripples him.
I don't think it has any bearing, actually.
I'm not really in favor of Biden regardless, so it doesn't really change my opinion.
He's not even running the country. Other people are.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.